Hey guys, it's Cos here, and I'm here with Kieren Brigden from a Creative Assembly, and he's here to talk about Napoleon Total War. Kieran, at what point in the development did you guys decide to turn this into a fully fledged sequel as opposed to an expansion pack?
Well, what happened with Napoleon was that initially we intended, as you say, to just kind of do it as just a strict add-on. But the code got to a point where we pushed it so far, we literally had to branch it out of the code base. It came as two realities. One was technical and the other was thematic. So when we were concentrating on the theme and the story and the idea, we realised to really do this properly, we needed to give it its own space, its own game space. And like I say, technologically we got to the point where we had to break it off because it had just gone too far beyond what we'd done before.
Okay, and what sort of modifications have you made to the engine this time around?
Well, obviously you've got all the kind of basic aesthetic changes, so we've got a new particle system, a new physics system and lighting models, and all of these things obviously create much more realistic battlefields, allow us to get a lot more unit fidelity and show a lot more detail on screen, kind of giving a kind of an oil painting look to the whole experience. Beyond that, we've obviously improved all of the AI routines as well, so on the campaign map and in the battles you'll find the AI is a lot more responsive and a lot more of a challenge. And then of course you've got the gameplay mechanics as well, which have been tinkered with quite a lot, so as they result in a very, very different type of gameplay experience. Things like the looting mechanics, the way that generals are treated, and the new attrition system and supply as well.
Okay, now you guys are introducing for the first time a unit customization tool here, but why did you guys stop there? Why not let people create their own maps, their own campaigns, and mod the game more?
Well, modding's always been a big part of the Total War series, so you know we are quite reliant in our mod community to do things because obviously they're a great thing and they kind of enhance the life of our products. In terms of modding itself, it's one of those things where do you put your focus as a developer? We can put our focus for the last few months of the game into creating mod tools and stuff for release, so when it's released guys can make their own levels and all the rest of it, or we can put our focus into polishing the game. And in all honesty, it serves us best, and hopefully our players eventually, if we put our effort into actually the game itself. What we do is essentially we allow the game's architecture to be modded, so it remains open and moddable. It's not locked off or anything like that. But we do rely on the community to essentially, beyond the unit editor, create their own tools to do this. So there is a two-stage process to modding. The programmer guys go at it and work out the tools, and then of course all the content modders go at it and work out all the new mods and unit skins and everything else.
Will the new battlefield defamation system be very taxing on players' systems?
Not so much, no. It's a very, very basic system, so it's literally kind of the beginning of something that we're working on. And basically it just allows you to, with the larger pieces of artillery and the like, tear big chunks out of the ground. And essentially what that does is it remains on the battlefield, slows up the units a bit that are trying to move through it, and of course it gives a morale deficit to those units as they see the, the earth being torn up around them. Now, like I say, that's not a massive implication for people's systems, just purely because it's only a very, very basic implementation of that technology.
Okay, and how long did it take for you to find the right balance between risk and reward for the new sending generals into battle mechanic?
Well, this is a tough one. It's just something you constantly play and play and play, and it's interesting because obviously you get certain players who are more hesitant and other players who are a bit more aggressive, and it depends on how they use their general, what the outcome is. So we found that what we wanted was a position where pushing the general to the front would make a massive difference very quickly in the kind of melee of battle and indeed in the formations that you've got, but that leaving him there for any length of time was going to expose him to enemy fire and all the rest of it, and potentially get him killed or have him rout, which is hugely devastating for your army. So it is a process really of players kind of working that out. So, a good example of something would be if you've got a kind of a hilltop defence and your general's just behind the crest of the hill, so he's hidden from enemy artillery, and he's not really in range to buff any of the units at the front. You push him forward to help all those guys at the front who are defending the foot of the hill, but the minute he does that, he crests the hill, and therefore the enemy artillery is trained on him, and you'll eventually have to pull him back. But judging that time is up to you, and it's one of the strategies that, Napoleon kind of introduces.
Okay, now Empire Total War was the first time that you guys have branched out into sea engagements. How was the community reaction to that?
Well, overall it's been very good. As with anything, it does need improving because if you think about it, we've spent years and years making land battles in games, so and we've perfected those every time as we go on. We add this, we add that, we polish and tweak, right? So the idea that we get naval battles dead right straight out of the gate, is probably ill-conceived. We did a very good job. People on the main were very, very happy with them, and they were a good part of the game. And what we've done for Napoleon is we've polished them up a little bit in areas where people gave us feedback. So you'll find that the command and control of ships and the user interface is a little bit smoother. The pathfinding's a little bit better, so controlling larger fleets is a lot easier. And in addition to that, we've added the mechanic whereby ships can be repaired at sea. So while the ships are actually fighting, you can pull them off the line, have them repair, and then send them back into battle again. So there's a number of different facets we've added to the naval combat to try and again advance that for Napoleon.
Okay, now we're also about to see a new co-op patch be rolled out, or beta rather, be rolled out for Empire Total War. Will that be making it into Napoleon Total War?
Well, the beta trial of Empire's multiplayer campaign goes live on the 7th of December, and depending on the feedback from that, we are hopefully intending to make all of Napoleon's campaigns multiplayer campaign right out the box. So again, it depends on the feedback we get from the beta test we've got with Empire, but we're pretty sure it'll be quite positive. So in general, yeah, we're looking to make sure that each of Napoleon's campaigns are multiplayer right out the box.
Okay, and one last question. Empire Total War was the first time the Creative Assemblies used Steam as a digital distribution platform. Can you tell us a little bit about your experiences with it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, as with any new technology, it's kind of a learning curve. So the first time we used it, it brought us a whole load of benefits. But when we actually first, obviously, released the game on it, we found out that there were some drawbacks as well. Those have since been rectified, so we don't have to worry about anything like on the day of release again. In that sense, overall it's been a massive, massive bonus for us using Steam. We're continuing to refine the system and work out how to integrate the multiplayer more tightly. There's a number of new multiplayer modes in Napoleon which actually take advantage of Steam's integration with the game, including stuff like the drop-in battles modes. And basically, it's been a learning curve for us, which we're now really quite quite excited and quite content about where we're at with Steam and with Napoleon.
Okay, Kieren, thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks very much.